Okay, so you've tuned in again here to the channel Out of Darkness, the channel designed to guide you to and through your best retirement. And it's been really tough times here the last 6 weeks or so, uh, 6 years with COVID. Um, and so I want to explore the question, when does the darkness end? So hey, if you've been a follower here, if you've liked and subscribed, bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Thank you. I feel I've got uh, things I'm saying that can relate to people's lives, whether you're 35 or 85, um, and thinking about your best retirement. And I've uh, in earlier videos, I've talked about factual stuff, you know, the hard numbers on inflation and budgetary things, um, the cost of food items, some of the biology around food items, and if you watched my very first video, uh, I also hinted about those things that are important in life, whether we're retired, approaching retirement like I am, or 20 or 30 years away like some of you might be. Um, these are the issues that fall under the category of artistic, and philosophy. And so this is what I want to deal with this evening. Um, in, I don't know if you're getting a glare on this, in the fall of 1988, in a little bookshop, mom and pop owned, on Main Street in Keene, New Hampshire, I bought that book. Um, Complete Works of T.S. Eliot. A little ragged, a little worn. Um, Read it many times, uh, many places. I've read the two-part uh, biography of his life. Interesting stuff from the standpoint of a man who was born in the United States. Uh, History of puritanic preachers in his family. He moved to England, joined the Church of England, but yet a lot of his writing is Zen, Buddhist, um, Eastern philosophy. So I want to share some of that. Uh, if you like what you see on this channel, please punch the like and subscribe. This is going to be a little bit longer post than the ones that I've normally been doing. I want to start doing deeper dives into things, but hey, my demographic says most of you engaging in my videos are like me. Uh, you know, 55 or older. So you're not doing that instant dopamine. Hey, I'm going to scroll through, bum, 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 show me some hot girl dancing in 45 seconds and I'm on to the next one. Let's truly get into something of consequence. So unless you have never stopped on this channel before, unless you didn't read titles. This channel is called Out of Darkness, with the idea that we're going to move through some of the scary parts, the uncertain parts, the unknown parts of working towards retirement. There's so many questions out there. Of course, the basic: how much money do I need to save? How much money do I need to have? And then, how do I withdraw it? How do I work with it? I've spent so many years saving all this money. Now I've got to start taking it out. So just a lot of shit we all have to think about, So what I want to say here today is that the darkness never really ends. The darkness... Now, when I talk about darkness, again, Taoism, the yin and the yang, darkness, stillness, uncertainty, brightness, action, movement, and the yin and the yang complement each other. So, the reality is we never really lose the yin. We never really lose the darkness, because there's always those new questions, new challenges to face. And so I don't think I'm leading you astray when I say Out of Darkness. Hey, many of you watching this video, and I hope you're still engaged in watching, you're older than me. You realize that there's no one fit size solution. You realize there's, do this and you're guaranteed success. Hey, follow my 3-point plan and you can be a millionaire tomorrow. I'm not feeding you that bullshit. I'm talking about life. Here at the Out of Darkness Institute, we dig deep. We think about important issues. We dive into those issues. Maybe sometimes it's things that you might not want to confront, but we're gonna go there. We're gonna offer solutions. We're gonna offer ways to make our best lives in retirement. Right. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to help you with. And I hope you will, sometimes, again, hit the like and subscribe, and also engage in the comment section. Hey, what are you doing that you feel good about building your retirement or in retirement? What can you offer to other people? We get all of these in our news feed. Well, this is how much money you need to have saved by the age of 45 to retire successfully. This is how much you need by the age of 55. This is how much you should have at 65. This is the optimal amount you need to have in retirement. Well, retirement isn't a one-size-fits-all. So pay no attention to that bullshit. I don't. And I hope you won't either. So, anyways, I want to get into some of the artistry I want to share tonight. Now, I need to preface the bulk of this conversation with this. T.S. Eliot's Four Quartets. T.S. Eliot, one of my top minds of the 20th century. I mentioned him earlier. Just freaking brilliant. Okay. So, the summer of 2016, my daughter, my brother, and I did this, what I call the Great American Road Trip, from New York State to Chicago, St. Louis, Pittsburgh. Between St. Louis and Pittsburgh, we visited the small towns in Indiana where they filmed the movie A League of Their Own. Okay, that has been our movie as far as my daughter and I. I used to umpire baseball. I mentioned that in an earlier video, and sometimes at Cooperstown, and my daughter was very little, and one of the first times we watched A League of Their Own, and she's like, Cooperstown, Cooperstown. So, anyways, we took this road trip, and so we're in St. Louis, and we went to a game of the Cardinals versus Pittsburgh, I believe it was. St. Louis is a beautiful ballpark. If you like baseball and you've never been there, tickets are very affordable. Go to St. Louis, watch a baseball game. It's beautiful. But anyways, earlier in that day, we were down along the water. We toured the courthouse, the historic courthouse. Cool times. We took the riverboat ride, and then there was the arch. Okay, two things I am absolutely not a fan of: confined spaces and heights. Oh, and there goes Willie Nelson, our CEO here at the Out of Darkness Institute. So while the rest of the party took the elevator, tick, 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 up the arch, I was like, yeah, no, thank you. I went down and I sat along the Mississippi River, and I read one of the books of T.S. Eliot's Four Quartets. Now, T.S. Eliot was born in St. Louis. So it begins with this, and he's talking about the Mississippi River. I do not know much about gods, but I think that the river is a strong brown god, sullen, untamed, and intractable. Patient to some degree, it first recognized as a frontier, useful, untrustworthy, as a conveyor of commerce. Then only a problem confronting the builder of bridges. The problem once solved, the brown god is almost forgotten by the dwellers in cities, ever, however, implicable. Keeping his seasons and rages, destroyer, reminder of what men choose to forget, unhonored, unpropitiated by worshippers of the machine, but waiting, watching, and waiting. Cool stuff. Today there's, didn't look it up, 8 or 10 bridges spanning the mighty Mississippi around St. Louis, and that allows for so much commerce that people don't think about as they go across those bridges. And that shows some of the advances that we've made and continue to make. So now I want to turn to some other parts of T.S. Eliot's writings. the four quartets. Of course, one of them was East Coker. And again, back to the theme of this, I don't want you to get lost thinking I'm meandering here. The idea is, or the proposition I'm putting before you is, do we ever escape the darkness? We can solve an issue. We can see something, wow, what is the optimal date of retirement? Well, we can solve that issue. And then we get into the next one of, okay, now how do I withdraw? How do I manage my expenses in retirement? So there's always that new question, that need to turn the flashlight on again. And Eliot sums up so much of that absolutely frickin' brilliantly. You say I am repeating something I have said before? I shall say it again. Shall I say it again? In order to arrive there, to arrive where you are, to get from where you are not, you must go by way wherein there is no ecstasy. In order to arrive at what you do not know, you must go by way in which is the way of ignorance. In order to possess what you do not possess, you must go by the way of dispossession. In order to arrive at what you are not, you must go through the way in which you are not. And what you do not know is the only thing you know. And what you own is what you do not own. And where you are is where you are not. So continuing on with section 5 of East Coker. So here I am in the middle way, having had 20 years largely wasted. The years of l'entrée du garage, which was the 20 years between 1919 and 1939, the end of World War I and the beginning of World War II, when Europe's economy was basically stagnant. And of course, Eliot was living in Europe during most of that time. Trying to use words in every attempt is a wholly new start and a different kind of failure. Because one has only learnt to get the better of words for the things one no longer has to say, or the way in which one is no longer disposed to say it. And so each venture is a new beginning, a raid on the inarticulate, with shabby equipment always deteriorating, in the general mess of imprecision of feeling, undisciplined squads of emotion, and what there is to conquer. Cool stuff. Not depressive stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah, it's... Today's lesson, today's solution might not work tomorrow. We're always approaching life with, I don't want to use the word weapons because that implies, violence, but we're always approaching our life with perhaps imperfect tools. the things we need to solve the problems, but we need to always be problem solvers. We always need to understand the darkness, the yin, and move towards the yang, the light. And it's not like Dorothy and Oz. You know, it's not like, oh my God, you just entered the frickin' Emerald City Kingdom and everything is frickin' lollipops and poppy fields. The next day is market crashes, food inflation, and so we need to persevere. It not like, not persevere with drudgery, persevere with attitude. That's what I want to say. Persevere with attitude. Have the bit of have a hint of that. We've all seen the meme, the cartoon drawing of the little rodent, a chipmunk or whatever, as the hawk is swooping down on him, and he's sitting there doing this, right? We need to have some of that, but defiance is good, but don't make it always out of anger. Make it out of choice. Make it out of a position of strength and control. Control what you can control. Not in a clinging, oh my God, but in a, okay, I got this. I got this part. We'll move on. Okay, this is settled for now. For now, because darkness can come creeping back in here, there, everywhere. Stay positive. Hey, I know who my audience is, and much of you are older than me. Okay, you've made it this far, and I hope you've made it this far into this video. Okay, so you've got something going for you. And even if you're the 45-year-old that makes up a part of my audience, okay, you've got some things working. Keep them working. Times are hard. We're all in this together. Together we'll get through them.